Well, it seems a lot of crazy things are happening in the world these days because sometimes I come across some cases and honestly, I struggle to appreciate how these things come up. Today's true crime story is coming from New Jersey in the United States of America, where a female teacher has managed to have a physical intimacy with her 13-year-old student when she was rather 28 years old and has ended up having a kid for this teenage boy. Yeah, you heard me right. Now, if you are able to understand how come such a thing could happen, please educate me in the comment section. Just go to the comment section and let me know why or how these things do happen, and I'll really appreciate that. Educate me in the comment section. And before I get into the details, I'll plead. My analytics are showing me that majority of my viewers have not subscribed to my channel, and it's really hurting my channel. I know it's not deliberate on your part, but just pause the video and check to see if you've subscribed, and if you haven't, kindly subscribe and help us push our channel. I know that sometimes you may even not realize you haven't subscribed, or even if you do realize, you may have in mind to subscribe, but you may be enjoying the content so much it escapes you. So let's not allow that to happen now. Just hit the subscribe button and we are good to go. So back to the case at hand. Now, the teacher in this case is Laura Caron, and at the time this whole thing started, she was 28 years old, but she's now 34 years old. So we are looking at a space of 6 years within which this started, manifested, and culminated into what it is now. But let's get to the very foundation, because I'm sure listening to me, you would have some questions like, first of all, how was she able to do this with this kid? How come she was able to get him to a point where they are alone and these nasty things could happen? 2, how come nobody saw this? How come she was able to have a kid? Nobody knew the father of the kid and it wasn't a problem. And eventually, how did it get exposed? Well, that is why I'm here. I'm going to bring you all these, not just for the sake of it, but so we are educated and enlightened, and we pass on the knowledge to our loved ones and our family members, because this happened to the teenage boy of a family. And I tell you, the predators are all around. Crime knows no bounds. Crime knows no territories or boundaries. It knows no race and it knows no gender. It's everywhere. So here in Ghana, in West Africa, my country, we have a proverb, and the proverb says that if you happen to be passing behind someone's house and you hear the person's parents advising them, pause and listen to the advice and take it and put it down for yourself as well, because advices are for everybody. Even if you don't need it at that time, once you have it in mind, a time may come and you may need it, and when you apply it, you are good to go. That is the essence of my channel. Now, this female teacher, Laura Caron, when she was 28 years old, had a student whom she was really good to, and she developed a friendship with the parents of this student to the point that there was a level of trust these parents apparently seemed to have for her, so much so they actually agreed that the teenage boy, who was 13 years at the time, and I'm withholding his name, his parents agreed that this teenage boy should go and stay with his 28-year-old female teacher in her house. And he wasn't even going alone, he was going with his siblings as well. Now, this is where my first issue starts, because on what grounds, what level of trust or friendship would allow parents to agree that their kid should leave home and go and stay with this teacher. And it wasn't like it was for a night or two. It was for quite some time. And I think that is where everything started from. Yes, Laura Caron may be a predator in herself, but most of those predators are actually looking for opportunity. So if you're a parent and you let loose like this and you slack, or you are that naive and you just openly trust, you expose your kids to things like this, even if it's not deliberate. It's always important to note that you don't just go with things on face value. You have to run an analysis. You must vet certain things. You must be cautious. You must understand that the fact that certain things have not happened doesn't mean they can't happen or they won't happen. And that some things would have happened if not for your constant presence in the lives of your children. So don't take it for granted that you are there, nothing has happened, so that nothing will happen and now you are relaxing. The moment you leave, that's when things happen. And that is what happened to this guy. His parents allowed the boy and his siblings, who were younger, to go and stay with this Laura Caron teacher. Now, over the course of that stay, this is what allegedly happened. It's been alleged that some of this boy's siblings are actually saying, now that the issue has come out, they are saying that, one, Laura Caron made the boy sleep with her in her bed, like literally, so they were sharing the same bed. 13-year-old boy and a 28-year-old female teacher, his teacher. He was sleeping in her bed. Two, when he is at the bathroom, Laura Caron will go there and lock the door. And I'm sure you can conclude on what happens there. And as all these things are happening, you would ask yourself, how come the parents were not told? Well, for starters, they were not staying with the parents. I don't even know what the arrangement was in depth, to the point, even when they were with Laura Caron, how often did the parents even see the kids? And even if they did, what were their conversations about? I believe that as parents, you need to learn the skill to have conversations with your children where you can elicit information from them about how their day went, what they did, what was done to them, who said what to them, who did what to them. It's a skill you must learn and sharpen and progress every time. Because the truth is, kids mostly are innocent, to the point that some things may be happening to them, around them, and they may not even see the negativity or the evil in those things. But the moment you're able to get them to share their day with you, talk with you, ask them questions, have conversations with them that elicit certain things, it begins to let you know what happened, and you, with your level of maturity and exposure to things in the world, can now sift out the dangers your kids are likely to be exposed to and start putting in mitigating actions. I think that is one of the core fundamental functions of a parent. And the moment you are not really around in the lives of your kids, you leave that vacuum where things go unchecked, things go undetected and unnoticed, and people like Laura Caron begin to get the opportunity to sneak in. And that is what I see happen here. Very, very unfortunate, but, well, as is being reported, Laura Caron had her way with this boy and got pregnant for this boy, and at a point, she actually delivered the kid. She gave birth to a beautiful daughter, and people were asking, Laura, who is the father of this kid? And guess what Laura said? She indicated that, oh, the father of the kid is not in the picture, blah, 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 blah. But you know, it is only natural for people to keep asking, because this is the world we live in. It takes two to make a baby. So they had not really seen any man around Laura Caron who they could look at and attest that, oh, this is Laura Caron's boyfriend and it's likely he may be responsible for this pregnancy. But some way, somehow, Laura Caron has gotten pregnant and given birth, And even on the birth certificate, you don't really see the name of any father there. And Laura Caron stuck to her guns with this excuse and sold that excuse to her family, her friends, anybody who was curious to ask. And it seemed like she had gotten away with it, to the point that this kid actually grew. She grew to be about 4 years old. And at this time, it appeared like Laura Caron was now so comfortable. She felt apparently or possibly that she had gotten away with the crime and was so confident that guess what she did? She started taking pictures of this kid, who obviously is innocent of what her mother had done, and started posting the pictures of herself and her kid on social media, including Facebook. This is how evil gets exposed. Sometimes you are doing the wrong thing, you get so comfortable because you've become so good at lying. You think your lies will take you everywhere and just absolve you of responsibility and you can fool everyone. But there's a way things happen when you are doing the wrong thing, such that the more you try to hide it, the more it tries to come out. And in the end, it comes out in the most weird way. It comes out in a way you would have never suspected it would. And that is exactly what played out here, because guess what? Laura had successfully fooled everybody. She had sold lies about the father of the kid, defended everything, and she had been able to give birth, take care of the baby. The baby was growing now. The baby was a toddler. Her life was moving on. And nobody had found out. She hadn't been caught. Guess what happened? She now went ahead to start posting pictures of herself and her now toddler kid on Facebook. And then, guess who saw it? Yeah, the teenage boy with whom she had the kid. His dad saw the picture. So technically, the picture was seen by the grandfather of Laura Caron's kid, who at the time didn't know he was even a grandpa. And when he saw the picture, he allegedly exclaimed that this kid bears a striking resemblance to my son. But how can that be possible? My son is just a teenager. But then it raised suspicions because the resemblance was too striking. And that is it. You can't beat nature. From this point, investigation started leading into the possibility of something happening because the resemblance was too striking. It was at this point that Laura Caron will be found out that she had had this kid with the 13-year-old boy who had been entrusted to her custody academically and also domestically by his parents. Now, like I said, this was 6 years ago when this started and she had the kid. The boy was 13 years old at the time and he's now 19 years old. And guess what he's doing? When this whole thing came out and Laura Caron was found out, this boy is actually defending Laura Caron and saying that he is the one who started everything. He instigated it. I don't blame him so much, given that she was able to sink her claws into him when he was a kid. I don't think his wisdom is balanced. I don't think his objectivity is intact. I think that she has done a number on him, and she has literally corrupted his integrity as far as she's concerned and his objectivity as far as she's concerned, because he has handled him in a way which has compromised him to his core. And he feels like he's a hero who has to save her from the evil law that is trying to get at her for showing him love. I don't know, a twisted whole thing. But let's analyze that claim that he's putting out, that he is the one who made advances at her. Granted, that was it. My questions are in two forms. How did he do that at the age of 13 years? Was he able to propose to or hit on a 28-year-old teacher of his and get her to actually sort of accept it? Did he take some crayons and paper pencils and his algebra book and combine and create a romantic thing? Definitely not. And my second question goes to Laura Caron, the teacher who was 28 years old at the time. How do you, an adult, come to the conclusion that a 13-year-old proposes to you and some way, somehow you consider it and accept it and you go ahead to get physically intimate with the person and then have a baby for the person? If I'm a judge and I start hearing things like this, it becomes weirder because it goes to show further the deficiency in her character and her judgment. Obviously, I don't believe what the young man is saying, but these things are happening. You go to my playlist, I have a number of cases on this. In one instance, there is Emily Nutley, a 43-year-old wife and mother of 3 who was a counselor at a Catholic school. Look at the variables. Look at the characteristics of this woman. She's a wife and a mother of 3. She's 43 years old. She's a counselor at a Catholic institution. All these things were supposed to guide her judgment, but she went ahead and got physically intimate with a teenager. These female predators are around and they are looking for vulnerable, innocent boys to prey on. Now, as it stands now, Laura Caron is in the grips of the law and she's potentially facing 10 years in prison on charges. And it is very, very likely that she's not going to beat the case. But my question is, what are the lessons to learn from this? First of all, if you're a parent or a guardian, protect your children. Don't think everybody is as pure as you. When it comes to controls and control measures, the idea is they are in place so that you act proactively. Because look at what has happened to this boy. I personally believe, and I'm no clinical expert, this is my opinion, I believe that it's likely to leave this guy with a trauma of a sort. He may not realize it now, but even I'm sure America as it is, they have brilliant doctors and psychologists and trauma experts who would understand that this guy needs to be given some kind of counseling because it takes a toll on children when they go through this thing. And I don't know if there's any form of trauma session or counseling session that can take this away from this guy fully. Maybe a bit may be left and it could have been avoided if the parents were proactive. For me, that's what I would say, because I think that if they had not allowed that thing that she goes to stay with him, she wouldn't have changed as a predator, but maybe he wouldn't have become a victim of hers. She may have tried it on someone else whose parents were loose. So it starts with the parents. And for me, I believe that it is very important for parents to understand that they are the strongest level of protection any child can have. They shouldn't leave that duty to a school or any institution for that matter. Nobody would really care for your child like you. That is if you're a parent of the right standing, because we know there are some horrible parents out there. But parents, please, protect your children, protect your loved ones. There are a lot of predators out there. There are lots of things going on out there. Don't think that it's far from you. Check my channel. I have almost 600 videos spanning across cases worldwide. There are some from Africa, there are some from my country, Ghana in Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, everywhere in Africa. There are some from Europe, United States, everywhere across the world. I've brought cases, at least in most countries across the world. That should tell you one thing: evil knows no boundaries. More and more, these things are happening to children in schools. I have another case on my channel, Christina Formella. She was doing this with a teenager. Even after she got married, she was still doing it. That is how crazy it is. Don't take things on face value. Look beyond that, because most people are just pretending in public, but in private, they are something else. Look beyond what people give on face value, and just make sure that irrespective, your control measures are in check and in place. That is how you protect your people, you protect your loved ones and your family. Subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comment section what you think the parents could have done differently and what sentence you think befits this lady. Because you know one thing, there was an argument about this. I heard some people talking about the fact that, the boy has enjoyed because the lady is hot and all. And I felt disgusted because it seems that when the perpetrator is a female, people want to diminish the seriousness of it. Imagine the teacher was a male and the child student was a female. It would look disgusting, straightforward to some people. But it looks like, given the fact that the teacher is a female and the victim is a teen male, some people are just trying to belittle it and think that the kid is actually privileged. And I find that very stupid, because trauma knows no gender. And I'm happy that the court looks at it the same way. Let me know what you think about all this in the comment section. I'll catch you on the next one. Stay safe out there.